So we all know what a rocket jump is, and we all know what a sticky jump is. What about Sentry Jump? Today we're going to have a little look at how you're supposed to Sentry Jump and the kind of absolute basics of Sentry Jumping. So let's get straight into it. Now, first and foremost, the loadout. This is crucial to your Sentry Jumping. So the number one weapon you need to equip is the Wrangler. If you don't equip the Wrangler, you can't Sentry Jump. So first of all, you need the Wrangler. Now for your shotgun, it's kind of up to you, but for reasons I'll explain later, I'd say pick the Rescue Ranger and just stick with that. And for everything else, you're going to need the stock wrench so you can build a level 3 sentry, basically anything apart from the gunslinger, just so you can build a level 3 sentry and be able to, use the rockets for the rocket jumping. Now, if you know the basics of rocket jumping and sticky jumping, you probably will have heard of a tactic called C-tapping. This is essentially when you press control while you're jumping. So if you press control and space at the same time, you will jump and crouch. Using this, you can then, take your rocket jumps and your sticky jumps much higher and much further. You basically use this tactic to just get higher and further, like I said. And you can also use this with Sentry Jumping, since it kind of works in exactly the same way, using explosive projectiles to fling you God knows where. Using C-tapping will basically just mean you can fly a lot further than just jumping. So that's kind of like the basics of C-tapping. You can go into it further, but essentially just hold down control and space while you're jumping and you'll fly further. So the jump itself, basically you're going to want to use the Wrangler, aim the sentry gun beneath your feet, so you'll be pointing straight downwards, fire the rockets using the alt fire button, and then wait for the rockets to get you and jump using the C-tap essentially. You're going to want to jump just before the rockets hit you though. If you let the rockets hit you, you're not going to go anywhere. And you need to have the rockets aiming at the floor below you rather than at you. If it hits you, you're just going to die. But make sure it hits the floor, just under you. Jump just before the rockets get to you, and you'll be flung skywards. Obviously, using C-tapping, you'll be flung even further. The jump does do a hell of a lot of damage compared to, say, rocket jumping, so it is advisable to get an overheal, or make sure you're around some med packs, when you're doing your jumping. So I've explained how you would jump, but why would you ever need to do it? So really, in the same way you use rocket jumping and sticky jumping, it's just essentially to get into areas you otherwise wouldn't be able to get to, say on top of buildings or up to higher areas that you just couldn't get to otherwise. You can then use these areas to set up sentry guns, set up teleports, and this is where the Rescue Ranger comes in. If you use this sentry gun to jump up to a high area you couldn't get up to before, you can then use the Rescue Ranger to rescue range your sentry up to where you are, so you can then place the sentry where you sentry jumped up to. So this just means you can flank the enemy and have your sentry in kind of spaces the enemy would never actually kind of think to look, so you can catch them off guard, surprise them, and get some really unique sentry spots which will confuse the enemy team. These will be sentry spots that aren't, say, quote unquote meta spots, which are like the most commonly used. These will be like surprise spots, and they'll catch the enemy off guard essentially. And you can also put teleports up there, dispensers up there, you can put a whole nest up there if you really wanted to. You can use teleports, then your team can teleport up there. You can use these kind of high areas to flank the enemy. The enemy team aren't going to be able to get up there, so your teammates could, go around, flank the enemy, catch them off guard again. This is essentially like a surprise tactic. If you're using the sentry jumps to get up to different areas. And that's just a basic look at sentry jumping. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Please don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra!